Good morning, everybody. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, today's episode is going to be dedicated to my mom, Nancy Orro, who just turned 58 today. And this is going to focus on something that she really loved when she was young. So, before we get started, let's talk about a kid detective from literature named Nancy Drew. Created in 1930 by publisher Edward Stratemeyer, Nancy Drew was a series of mystery stories about a teenage detective, which is the same name as the title, who spends her time solving mysteries, some of which she stumbles upon herself, and some of which begin as cases of her father's. Not much else to say about the series other than the fact that my mom told me that she loved reading these books when she was a kid. Now, while Nancy did have several films in the late 30s and TV shows from the 1950s to 2002, today's subject is an original Nancy Drew story that was made into a movie in 2007. But, is it any good compared to the books? Well, let's find out. Released on June 15th, 2007, the movie is Nancy Drew. Now, let's get this mystery started. Teen detective Nancy Drew accompanies her dad on a business trip to Los Angeles, California. Nancy booked an abandoned house for them to stay in, hiding the mystery of a movie star's murder from her father as a promise that she would stay out of trouble and be normal. Fitting into high school as a normal teen turns out to be harder than it sounds for Nancy. She soon befriends a younger boy and determines that the sleuthing world is where she belongs. While snooping around the attic, she finds a letter from the Hollywood star Delia Draycott written to someone named Z. This leads Nancy on a wild goose chase as she comes to find out that Delia has a secret daughter. Her daughter is to inherit everything, and someone killed Delia because they were written out of the will. So, what are my thoughts on this mystery movie? Well, let me just say that when I heard news about this movie before it made its theatrical release, I had a feeling that it would be a great mystery film. And, after seeing the movie that very afternoon, not only did I like it, but my mom and sister loved it too. But, before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. The film was shot in 2006 and was filmed in several California cities, including South Pasadena, Los Angeles, Santa Clarita, Long Beach, La Canada, Flintage, and Burbank. Nancy's car in the film is a blue Nash Metropolitan convertible. Now, since this film takes place in Los Angeles, California, which is the city I was born in, I like the fact that this mystery is focused on a Hollywood movie actress. And my favorite parts in this film are the opening title sequence, which almost looks like book illustrations, including scenes like Nancy's birthday party, the Chinatown scenes, the car chases, and also Nancy's school. I especially love how the Draycott mansion looks, not just by how it's built, but by what it contains, like projections and a secret passageway in the walls. I also love the many musical montages that play throughout the movie, my favorite being Pretty Much Amazing by Joanna. Now that we got Mustang notes out of the way, let's move on to the cast and characters. Our main heroine, Nancy Drew, is played by Emma Roberts, whom I talked about before in my last blog, Wild Child. What I like about her is she's cute, spunky, brave, smart, and has great detective skills, and cool detective gear like a rope, notebook, and recorder, and many more. Plus, she's great at CPR, and has nice taste for old-fashioned clothing. Fun fact, before Emma Roberts was hired Actress Amanda Bynes was considered to portray Nancy, but her schedule prevented her from taking the role. At the time, Emma Roberts did not have her driver's license, though she was in possession of a permit by law. But she was unable to drive the roadster for the car chases all by herself. Next is Nancy's best friend, Ned Nickerson, played by Max Theriot, whom I remember from Catch That Kid. Now, shortly before Nancy's birthday happens, Ned stays in Los Angeles for a few days to help her with the Delia Draycott case. At the same time, he keeps reminding her about her no sleuthing promise. Now let's move on to Nancy's Los Angeles friends, Inga and Trish, played by Daniela Monet and Kelly Vitz. These two don't start out okay at first, but they do improve as they get to know Nancy. Still, the only downside about them is that they try to flirt with Ned. Next we have Inga's little brother, Corky, played by Josh Flitter, who, after this film, voiced Rudy in Horton Hears a Who. Now, sometimes this kid can be a tad annoying, but he does make a great supporting character for Nancy, while she's on the Delia Draycott case. Plus, he's pretty smart for a 12-year-old. Next is the target for this mystery, Jane Brighton, played by Rachel Leigh Cook, who played Becky Thatcher in Disney's Tom and Huck, and voiced Tifa in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. She's revealed to be Delia Draycott's daughter before she was adopted. What I like about her is she's mostly quiet and calm. She has a cute daughter named Allie, and after this mystery is solved, she makes the Delia Draycott mansion into a home for single moms and their children. Next is John Leshing, played by Marshall Bell. This guy is the caretaker of the Draycott mansion. Now, mostly he is pretty eccentric, but there's more to him than that, because he's the guy who made out with Delia and became Jane's father. And finally, we have Dashiell Zachary Biedermeier, played by Barry Bostwick, known for being in films like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure, and of course, the Hannah Montana movie. Now, this guy is our villain for the film. When we first see him, he's like a typical businessman, but later we discover that he was Delia Draycott's manager, who she knew as Z, and the guy who murdered Draycott. Why? Because Delia went a little crazy after she put Jane up for adoption and wanted to leave her career to be with the caretaker, Leshing. This made him into an insane psychopath, and he's willing to do anything to get his hands on Delia's will, even if it means killing Nancy. The rest of the cast includes Laura Herring, Tate Donovan, Carolyn Aaron, and, of course, Pat Carroll. And now it's time to move on to my final words. Overall, Nancy Drew is a great film. It has an interesting detective story, great characters, as well as wonderful music montages, and the sets are pretty spectacular. So, if any of you viewers out there like films that involve mysteries, or if you're a fan of the Nancy Drew stories like my mother, well, then I guess you'll love this film as well. I give this film a rating of 90% out of 100. Well, that's it for now. But I'm not done yet, because I have one more blog left to make before I fly to New York City next week. So, be sure to join me when the time comes. Mustang Power! Oh, and happy 58th birthday, Mom!